I thought I'd talk about this shit. And this basically talking about this so-called black indigenous thing. And I said once before, I told somebody, like, because you got a lot of Negroes that basically want to separate themselves from Africa entirely. They want to say that we was already here. But many places I've been, only thing I seen was, yes, you had, even in Latin America, you have from Mexico, all the way down through the Yucatan, all the way down to South America, which I've been to these places because I was in the military. But most indigenous Americans look the same. Whether they be Plains Indians, Eastern tribes. Now, this is what I'm gonna tell you. Yes, you have African mixed tribes on the East Coast. You did have that. I'm not. I got indigenous Native American DNA. I got it. My mom got it. My grandma had it. Yes, we all have. The majority of Black Americans have indigenous American DNA, and it's due to our close proximity to the indigenous people. A lot of times you had the 5 civilized tribes that had slaves, and you had slavery with them, and you had some slaves. You had the Seminoles that mixed with the blacks, and you had other tribes and a couple other tribes, a lot of tribes, Eastern tribes, that intermarried with blacks. So you had that intermarrying. That's why I say yes, you can. It's either or. It's some of them that can trace their lineage back, their indigenous ancestry. That's true. But to sit up here and say that, and you have that even down in Mexico, the Yucatan, you had that in Mexico, and you can see the indigenous and African mixed people. Because a lot of times, during that time, a lot of the indigenous and African, basically almost spiritual system was damn near the same. Like even some of the indigenous Native Americans took on African spirituality because they were almost damn near the same. Now you had some even that were Muslim. I didn't even know you had Native Americans that were from Mansi Musa's. When Mansi Musa's nephew came over here, was now white people trying to whitewash Mansi Musa, trying to say he was this white man. They always trying to do that shit. White people always trying to whitewash shit. But they try to whitewash Mansi Musa, saying Mansi Musa was white. What you call Eurasia, due to the Arabs, when the Arabs came in, and they did intermarry with a lot of the Ashanti and the Shanghai and the Shanghai and Empire Mali. It was a lot of mixture, but not that much. So back to what I was saying, you do have a lot of us that have indigenous ancestry. You can see it in a lot of our faces and shit. Like especially a lot of FBAs. Now you still have some FBAs that look West African. So when you have these Negroes that want to completely, yes, we've been separated from Africa for 400 years. But do we still have those same ancestral traits in DNA, in our DNA, in African DNA? Yes, we do. And to show you how fucked up DNA tests go, they'll fuck around and tell a black person that you all the way European. So you got actual black people running around here talking about they European white because their DNA came back showing they was white. You see how confusing these motherfuckers, the DNA tests confuse you? They confuse you a lot. So, yes, you do have black people that have indigenous American DNA. No doubt. I do, a lot of blacks do. Africans do. Black Americans or FBA do. But to sit up here and say that, you know, that we basically try to display other indigenous tribes, when I know how indigenous, the stock indigenous Native American look, get the fuck out of here with that shit. I don't like these pretendians and shit. It's one thing to say, yeah, we got indigenous blood, and some of us still live on the indigenous reservations on the East Coast. Yes, acceptable. Just like you got now, Oklahoma now recognizing the black Seminoles and the black Choctaw and the black Chickasaw and black Cherokee. They should have did that a long time ago, because a lot of them said they wasn't right, because they had a lot of them indigenous people have black family members. So you had that. Now I could say like the Plains Indians, sort of indigenous people in the Southwest, completely different. But our relationships with Native Americans, for the most of the time with Native Americans, our relationship with Native Americans always have been like this. With blacks and Native Americans, our relationship with them have been like this. So, like, for the most part, anytime Mexicans, indigenous people have problems, shit, we stepped up to the forefront with them. And then we had that with indigenous Americans that came up when they came up. They was involved, a lot of them was involved in the civil rights movement, due to the fact you had some blacks that were part of the civil rights movement that had indigenous roots. So you had that both ways, man. It's both. I say it's both. We still have African DNA. We still have, and we still.
Don't get in too much trouble, all right?
Then we still have. And we still have African DNA. Yet we can't not, and we got European DNA. Yes, unfortunately we do. We got white European DNA as well. So we basically, for real, black Americans have a ethno-eugenesis. We are a whole, yes, we have African DNA, indigenous American DNA, and we have European DNA. We are what's basically a new people, made in the USA. So we can't go nowhere. They can't deport us nowhere.